All right, so in this video, we're going to be going over the 3-step process for how to onboard, train, and ramp appointment setters into KPI within 7 to 14 days or less. This is going to be breaking down the exact process that our team used to scale to over $1 million a year just with our setter team alone, all through the DMs on Instagram. So if you're interested in sticking around, learning these exact processes for you to either improve as a DM setter or appointment setter yourself, or if you run a business, a coaching company, an agency, or you're actually on the management side, this video is going to be for you. So stick around and watch this simple 3-step process to train any DM setter, get them ramped into KPI, and start printing cash. I'll see you in the training.
All right, congrats. You made it through all of the modules for how to set. Now it's most likely important to understand the managing side of things, so you can understand, hey, if you're in a DM setter role, kind of what the business owner or the setter manager is most likely looking for, but also so you can actually ascend to become a setter manager after setting, right? Because at the end of the day, right, setting is great, sales is all great, but in order to truly become wealthy, you need more leverage on your time. And that's ultimately where setter management comes in. It does require a lot more people skills. It does require a lot greater skill set, but this is how, you can easily scale your income up to that $10, $20, even $30,000 mark. And maybe it's not easily, right? But at the end of the day, that's what our team members are on track for, who are in this manager position. And also it just gives you, a little bit more clarity on kind of the whole behind the scenes look for, how we're grading our internal setters, how we actually structure things in order to operate effectively as a team, and understand, in order to truly be successful with anything, you have to understand systems thinking, right? Because if you're just setting calls, at the end of the day, you're only focused on one part of the system, right? Because what else is necessary? Well, it might be the marketing, it might be the product, it might be customer success, it might be, the sales team, it might be the closers, right? It might be how efficient are we? It might be, how fast are we? Are we sending enough volume, right? There's so many different variables. So by understanding these SOPs, whether you use them as a setter manager or not, it will really help you just in the whole setting process to understand this, and also just stand out when you're doing interviews and going through that whole process, right? And if you ever start a business, this will also be super helpful. So setter manager, SOP. Now the purpose of this SOP, right, is to give us a full day reporting plus SOPs for the SDR team manager, right? Now, as a manager, pretty much all you're doing is either hiring or reviewing sets, right? Now, daily, there's going to be a team meeting, right? And then, each time throughout the day, right, we're going to be checking generally 3 times. So we're going to aim to maximize productivity and efficiency of each sales rep. So we might be checking the tags. So if we remember back over here, right? If we remember the tags, well, we have our tagging process. So check tags to make sure everyone is efficient. Ensure that all leads have been followed up with. Anything more than 2 days not followed up with inside the VSL or sent calling tags would be unacceptable. Send these leads to the setter who didn't follow up here, right? So as a setter, it's so important that you're hitting VSL and set calling tags, because that's going to be where 60% or so of your calls come from, right? As a setter manager, we also want to be making sure we're checking comments, poll votes, and inbound opt-ins to ensure that we have responses in less than 5 minutes. So as a setter, if you're able to do that, you're going to get really good results, right? Because this is ultimately what you as a setter manager would be looking for. Now we want to check tags to be followed up with and ensure end-of-day reports are filled out by the setters. So as a setter, right, as someone setting in the DMs, well, in order to understand how much money you're actually going to make, you have to understand what your inputs into the system are. Because once again, right, it doesn't matter what goals we're setting if we don't understand the inputs that are going to reach those goals. There's no clear roadmap that we can take to bridge that gap, right? So we have to be submitting our end-of-day reports and tracking this, which is another thing that we'll be discussing in here, right? Now, some red flags from reps. So if you're a rep, don't do these things, right? If you're a setter, not showing up to meetings, not communicating, not updating your CRM, not updating your end-of-day reports. If you're sick for more than 2 days, take care of your health, right? So if you're able to just optimize these 5 main things, that's also going to help you become a more efficient setter. Now, kind of during the day, so this is kind of what we do throughout the day as a setter manager. So there's 3 main things we want to focus on, and that's going to be, hey, are there unresponded DMs? Send screenshots to whoever's setting, tags not followed up with, and then are there any non-active setter tags, right? So if you're on a team, maybe there's multiple setters. Well, if one setter leaves, what happens to those leads, right? As a setter, you could probably claim those, and you could reach out to your setter manager asking to claim those leads. Or if you're the setter manager, right, you would want to allocate these leads to someone else. Now, part of this, right, we want to check comments and inbound. There's 3 main things you want to focus on: unresponded comments, CTA tags, poll votes, right? Then you want to check tags for the first message and follow-up. And then ensure end-of-day reports are filled. So that is the main thing that you're doing as a setter manager. You're running the meetings, right? So you're touching base with each rep, right? But you're also helping maximize productivity and efficiency of each rep, right? Making sure that we have efficiency on the unresponded DMs, hitting them in 5-10 minutes, making sure we're following up with the tags, and then having non-active setter tags. Right? So let's go back, right? And now that pretty much wraps up setter manager SOP, but I'll see you guys in DM setter ramping, which is how you can actually ramp effectively as a rep, but also if you're the one ramping new reps, this is what you do, right? So this is going to give you a good, clarity on how you can be most effective when you're ramping as a DM setter, but also how you should do it if you're a manager. Sweet. Welcome to the second module inside DM setter management. Now, this is going to be incredibly helpful if you're an actual setter, or at some point if you're ramping setters on a sales team, right? So the purpose of this SOP is to hire and onboard new DM setters onto the team. So our goal is for, once the onboarding contract is signed, to have that DM setter up and booking calls within the next 24 hours, right? And as a setter, your goal, once you sign that contract, is to figure out how you can book calls within the first 24 hours. If you can do that, you're going to be an absolute savage, right? Because as a business owner, it's the worst hiring someone and then they do nothing for a week, right? And then, maybe they're confused, etc. If you want to stand out and you want to crush it with DM setting or just any role in general, right? Maybe you want to start your own business one day too. Well, the people that you want on the team are people that are going to take massive action, take massive steps, put massive volume in, and do whatever it takes to win, right? At the end of the day, that's what we're looking for, right? So when you sign up on a team, then that's what you want to do as well, right? So day one, first day, you want to, keep things as simple as possible, right? And for us, right, we want to only give the DM setter a bare minimum on what to cover. This will include 2 SOPs, maybe the Instagram login, and then their VSL and calendar links, right? So as a setter, right, just ask for, hey, what are my scripts? How are we doing a tagging process, or how do we organize our pipeline, right? What are the social media logins, and how do I book calls? If you can do those 4 things, you're going to be an absolute savage, right? Because it's so simple. You just follow the frameworks, right? And you can actually tap here to get access to all the scripts again, tagging process here again. And then once you're onboarded, right, just do everything as fast as possible. Now, as a setter, what I would do is schedule a Zoom meeting with the setter manager to actually cover these same scripts or review any questions. But what I would do really first day is just to lock in as many wins as possible, right? So first day, I would aim for sending 100 DMs to new followers, poll votes, comments, replies, etc., and aim for 1 book call. Because if we can hit 1 book call, you're going to see the potential with this. It's going to show the business owner you're dedicated and want to crush it. And then at some point, if you are a setter manager, well, this is exactly what you want to see from anyone that you're hiring, right? So you can see it from both ends. And once again, this goes back to systems thinking. If we can increase the efficiency and speed from day one, right, there's no way we can't win. So as long as you go with that, that's going to be super helpful. Now, as a DM setter manager or the DM setter, what I would do is share 2 conversations where the prospect asks about pain points 2 conversations with the objections that were received, 2 conversations where the VSL was sent, right? And then 2 conversations where the calendar link was sent as well, right? Now on day 2, on the second day of onboarding, we will then review the DM setter's performance, right? So I want to review tags and ensure that all tags are added properly based on the pipeline structure that I've already put in place. So this might be, first message tag, follow-up tag, sent call link, book call, right? So as a setter, day 1, focus on volume. Day 2, focus on tagging and efficiency, right? Because we probably sent people the VSL link, the sent call link, etc. on our first day. So we want to make sure that we're tagging those effectively so we can follow up, right? Now, once again, if you're a DM setter, ask the questions. And then if you're a manager, answer the questions. And then we'd also want to make sure that we're filling out the end of day reports, because once again, this helps us with our statistics. And if the business that you're working with doesn't have end of day reports, just go into tracking templates, and then you can come to end of day setter tracking. And this is actually a template that you can use. Maybe it's this one right here. So this one I just need to update in here for setter tracking. But at the end of the day, you'll be able to use this sheet, and there'll be a separate module and training on this setter tracking. So that's what we do here. KPI expectations, day 2, 200 DMs sent, 2 book calls. And then I'd share 2 conversations, once again, about pain point desire. If we had any objections, share 2 conversations where the VSL link was sent, and then also where the calendar link was sent. So you can review those conversations with the manager, right? Or if you're the manager, review those conversations with the setter, right? So you can understand where the fall off is. Now, from day 3 to 7, I would have your closed CRM profile set up. So for each call that the DM setter is booking as the manager, it is your job to update the notes for the past 2 days of booking for the DM setter, right? Because the reason for this is that we don't want to overwhelm the setter with too many things happening and too many systems all at once, right? Now with this, KPI expectations, day 3 to 7, send 200 DMs sent plus tags added, right? You want to have new followers, pull votes, comments, replies, and then 3 to 5 book calls per day, right? So during these 3 to 7 days, over those first 3 to 7 days, continue sending feedback and reviews to the DM setters to ensure that they're on track and they understand where conversations are good and which are bad, right? Because if they don't understand, it's going to be really hard. And as a setter, ask the questions, right? Understand, hey, was this good about pain points of desire? Hey, was this good about, objections received? Hey, was this good about the VSL? Hey, was this good about calendar link, etc. Right? And then from there, I'd introduce the closed CRM and just get the DM setter more acquainted with things. That generally requires 1 more meeting, but still pretty solid, right? So that's how you properly ramp a DM setter within 7 days and get them fully up to speed. So hopefully that gives some good feedback, and I'll see you guys in the next module. So this module, we're going to be going over a little bit more about the grading system that our internal setting managing team uses for each of our setters. Now, there's going to be 3 main grades here, A+ grade, B grade, as well as a C grade. And this comes back to 3 main qualifications, which is speed, volume, and quality of conversation. So if you can really focus on optimizing these 3 main things, you're going to be an absolute savage as a DM setter or as a manager. So let's say, first of all, we want to focus on speed. Now, in order to get an A+ grade, we want to make sure that either as a DM setter or as the manager, we're making sure that our setters are consistently hitting leads in 5 minutes or less. So this is when they opt in on the comment section or, maybe inside the DMs. When they're actually sending messages, we want to be making sure that we're hitting those leads in 5 minutes or less. Then we want to focus on active conversations. We want to make sure those are being handled efficiently, and then also consistently following up with VSL, sent calling tags at the beginning of the day, as well as the end of the day. Now, in terms of volume, we want to make sure that our setters are doing at least 200 DMs a day. Now, this is more of a feeling. It's hard to gauge generally, but book demos is going to be the priority. So if we're not hitting 5 book demos per day as a DM setter, or, if you're the manager, seeing how everything's working out with your setters, if they're not booking at least 5 demos a day, then I would go check and first of all, make sure that there's enough lead flow from the shout outs or however you're running promos to the accounts, or, right, see if actual, if 200 DMs a day are actually being sent. Now, from this, we want to make sure that there's 30 book demos per week with at least 18 who are qualified. who actually show, right? So ideally, each setter is having 18 to 20 people actually show up on calls. And that's with a 60% show rate. Of course, you can push this higher by, making sure we're confirming the call inside the DMs, either night before or same day. But that's also going to help, boost show rates. And then obviously make sure that you as a DM setter are making more money, or if you're the business owner, making sure that your DM setters are on track for, their expected earnings. Now, from the quality standpoint, we want to make sure that conversations are consistently hitting on pain, desire, making sure that the prospects are watching the VSL, make sure there's enough urgency, have financial qualifications, and that, on the low end, we're not really booking third world countries because, each of those conversations should be hard qualified as soon as a non-first world country is mentioned. So that's where we go back into our financial qualifications, which we covered there earlier. Now, if a setter is not really up to the standards, most likely they're at a B grade. And in this case, we want to schedule a one-on-one meeting with the setter as fast as possible. Or if you notice that you're in this boat, I would talk to the business owner if you feel like it's the amount of leads inside the actual, Instagram inbox, or if you need to improve, well, then come back to this and see, okay, how can I get up to an A+ grade? Now, in this case, right, generally we're hitting leads within 60 minutes or less. So it's not within 5, and that means there's a huge fall off. So, we're having less active conversations. Maybe sometimes we're focused too much on follow-ups, so we're not really hitting active conversations enough, but a lot seem to be missed. Now, in that case, that would qualify as a B grade for speed. So what I would do is give each of your setters, or if you're a setter, rate yourself, hey, I'm an A+ for speed, but my volume is pretty low, right? How can I get more volume? Well, I just need to send more DMs or spend more time, right? Now, in terms of volume for a B grade, this might be you're only sending 100 to 150 DMs per day, but maybe you're only booking 4 demos, right? Maybe you're only having 20 booked demos per week and only 12 actually show up, right? Now, in terms of quality, you might not be hitting on pain enough. You might not be hitting on desire. Maybe you're skipping the VSL sometimes, right? Or not giving enough urgency. So if that's the case and you have a B grade for quality, then I would focus on those things, right? And maybe you are booking, maybe 6 or 7 calls, but 4 of those calls are, third world countries that have zero money, right? So in that case, you should go back and make sure we're hard qualifying those as soon as they mention, it's not a third country, right? Or as soon as they mention it's not a first world country. Now, lastly, if you have a C grade, so 2 back-to-back weeks of C grade ratings for the same category, that means, as a setter manager, you'd probably drop that setter from the team, right? Now, if you're a setter, you don't want to fall into this because if you have this, you're probably going to get dropped from the team, right? So if the speed was a C grade from the first week of June, that setter would receive a warning and need to go through a Zoom call review with the setter manager. So if this happens for a second week, right, of June, then that setter would be off the team. So this kind of depends on the business. And if you're an actual setter going through this, well, maybe it's not, the business may not be as sophisticated and they don't have all these processes, but I would still rate yourself out of A, B, or C grade and see how you can get back to an A grade in all categories of speed, volume, quality, right? Now, in terms of this, right, if you're missing unread conversations from the last 24 hours, you definitely need to fix that. If you didn't reply to an unread conversation in the past 24 hours, which should never happen, that would be a C grade, right? If there's 2-day lag time with follow-ups on the VSL tags, set calling tags, right? Everything that you're doing should be in accordance to the 2.4 DM setter crash course modules, right? So if you're struggling with this, go back and review those. Now, in terms of volume, if you're only sending 50 to 100 DMs a day, well, you're probably not going to get many results, right? If you're booking less than 3 demos a day or not even 1 qualified, that's going to be a C grade in terms of volume. And then quality, maybe you only hit 1 or 2 of these 5 things. Maybe you're not hitting on pain really. Maybe you just hit on the VSL, but there's no pain. So the prospect doesn't see, why this is even worthy of booking a call. So it's really important to go back and review those conversations and see, okay, can I improve on, seeking pain? Can I improve on finding desire? Can I make sure that they're watching the VSL? Make sure we're financially qualifying more, right? Now, if you're also booking a ton of third world countries, well, review the quality once again. Are you having conversations with people that are clearly, have a terrible profile on Instagram? They don't look like they have money. Maybe they're not even, speaking English. Well, we probably shouldn't be having those conversations with them, right? So this gives you a full breakdown on the grading system. I'll see you in the next module though, and thanks for watching.
So hopefully you got value from that video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Additionally, if you did find this valuable, please feel free to share with a friend or another business owner, because this is how this channel grows. We don't run any ads here, and that's all I ask. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you are interested in learning more about the one skill that has allowed me to travel the world to 19 different countries and live life on my own terms, click the link below and you'll be able to watch a free 25-minute training breaking down this skill of remote triaging so you can do the same. Talk soon.